Yes, hello, hello, hello. This is I'm back for another recap. I just finished reading 1 Samuel chapter 16, and this is going to be deep. This is going to be another one of the deep ones. The Spirit of God on me when I was doing that whole Bible study and music ministry. I could feel God's power, so I know that this is going to be um, powerful. So let me start it off with prayer. God, I just want to thank you for allowing me to have a really study today. And I could feel your presence, God. I could feel your presence during that live. And I could feel, even through the scriptures, I could feel that there's a in my spirit. So it's none of me and all of you. Use me as your willing vessel to say what it is that you want me to say and not just what I think you want me to say. God, my spirit, none of me and all of you. And thank you for all those, God, that you bring. Bring the people that you want to be here. Let the people that you want to follow this journey with me as we go through the Bible, bring them. For those who it's not your will, the people is their spirit is not right, not good, or negative, just I pray they don't even find it or even have any interest in staying. But for those who this word is for them, and I believe that they will know because it says, "My sheep know my voice," and I know that you always confirm your word outside of one person. You never choose one person or even one area. So I pray to give for them to have confirmation, whether they are listening to me live right now or whether they come back and see it later. Whenever they see it, I believe that's when they're supposed to see it. I pray this in Jesus' holy name, amen. So, um, today was a really emotional um, BIGO Live Music Ministry and Bible Study. Like, it was really emotional for me. I played the song by Doe, D-O-E, right? That's her name. I played her song, and it just, and also William Murphy, praises what I do. Like, there were certain songs I was playing during the live that just had me in my emotions because I just think about all the things that God has brought me through in my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about from childhood up, just all the things that God has brought me through, but definitely over these last 8 months. I just wanted to praise, and I could feel His Spirit. And then when I read, you know, 1 Samuel chapter 16, it really just came home to me. And it made me understand, right? A lot more to the point where I could feel a prophetic flow. And I didn't want to go into it in big old lot because I just wanted to be able to say it one time because I wanted it to come natural. So as we move forward in 1 Samuel, right, God has basically rejected Saul because Saul was a hot mess. Like I was saying, he wasn't doing right. He wasn't listening. And so God told Samuel that he wanted him to find a new king. He wanted Samuel to find a new king for Israel. And actually God already had the person picked out, right? Saul kind of mourned, the fact that Samuel mourned the fact that Saul wasn't going to be king anymore, because maybe he really had love for him, or maybe he was afraid of him. I don't know what it was, but so when God tells Samuel, I need for you to find a new king, and I already know who it is. Samuel's like, well, Saul, if he find out that he's being replaced, he's gonna kill me, But God said, can you just be obedient to what I told you to do and don't worry about all the other stuff? So God tells Samuel to go to Bethlehem. He said that there's a son there, one of their sons. He already had chosen one of Jesse's sons was going to be king or whatever. So when Samuel gets there and he calls Jesse, right? Jesse brings Jesse brings his first son up. right? Because it's obvious. I guess at this point in the game, Jesse knows that Samuel is looking for a new king of Israel. So Jesse brings his first son, and at first I think Samuel thought he was going to be the one too because he was nice looking or whatever. But God said, I ain't choose him. So then Jesse brings another son, and God tells Samuel, no, that ain't him either. So we go through seven sons. Jesse brings all seven of his sons in front of Samuel. And Samuel saying no to each one, like, that ain't the one, that ain't the one, that ain't the one, that ain't the one, right? So then Samuel's like, well, do you got any other kids? Is this all the kids? And he's like, well, I got one more son. But that son is out there in the field with the sheep and stuff. He over there. And Samuel's like, bring him, right? Bring him. We're not going to feast. We're not going to do anything till you bring him. So God brings David. That is the youngest son. He out there watching over the sheep, probably looking like a little dirty mouse. Like nobody probably even ever thought that David would be anything more than a musician. David was a musician. David played the harp. So David he was a very handsome man, and he was a musician, he played the harp, and he was a man of integrity and after God's heart, right? So that's who God chose. So once Samuel names him king, the Spirit of God lifts off Saul. Because remember, Saul had favor from God for being the king. But when God was like, I'm not choosing you, I'm going to choose David, right? So God removes his spirit from David, his favor from David, all that, and gives it, from Saul, and gives it to David. So when the Spirit of God lifts off Saul, the evil comes and replaces, right? So God, at that point, I guess everybody in the camp know that Saul has got this evil spirit or whatever. And one of them was like, listen, there's a musician that has the favor of God that you should tell him to come. Because, if he plays the music, then the evil spirit will leave you. So Saul says, well, bring me that musician. So the musician that they bring, of course, is David. And David comes and he finds favor with Saul. And every time Saul, the evil, whatever he be going through or whatever, would come upon him, David would start playing the harp. David had a gift. He had a creative gift. And we already know that David's about to be king. So there was more to David than just being able to play the harp and watch after the sheep. In fact, he was probably the one least likely. God is choosing the ones who are least likely. He's choosing the black sheep. He's choosing the Cinderellas that was hidden in the basement, hidden in the back. You had it the hardest. You had it the hardest. You had it you had it the roughest. You went through some stuff. You done gone through some challenges, not just maybe in childhood, but just in your life. But you are talented. You are very talented. You are very gifted. Hey, how you doing, Word Wolfling? Yes, very talented and very gifted. This is what God has put it on my spirit to say. We all are very talented. We all are very gifted. But for certain things, God chooses people. God chooses people for different assignments, right? And some of these assignments that God is choosing people for now are assignments that deal with leadership. They deal with maybe somewhere in leadership in areas of politics or in areas of music or in areas of entertainment or areas of healthcare or areas of childcare. I don't know. But God is choosing. He's choosing people. Thank you. I appreciate that. You matter too. I appreciate that. Praise, you know. Um, and for those of you who have gone through your family, you've gone through the worst storms. You feel like you are so gifted, but don't nobody really see your gift. Nobody has really seen your talent. You've been working on the backside of the mountain for a long time, and you really haven't gotten the recognition yet. The doors that you've been working towards, they haven't opened yet. The people who have done it, you've been kind of mistreated, right? It seemed like. Kind of like Cinderella, right? You've been kind of like held in the background. People who could have helped you purposely kept doors closed, right? Because they saw your potential, they saw your gift, they saw your talent, but there was jealousy, kind of like the stepsisters against the stepsisters and the stepmother against Cinderella. They were jealous of her, right? They kept her looking the worst. They kept her in the worst situations, whatever. She was gifted. Same, David was out there. Everybody, he didn't call all the other sons, but he ain't feel the need to call David. You know, David down there, trying to keep all the sheep together. David got the hardest job. But just like in the story Cinderella, God, in the story Cinderella, the prince saw out of all the people that ball when she got a chance to go. And even though she had to be out of there, at a certain time she had to be out, she behind all that kind of jazz. The point is that she left such an impact on him that he went searching for her because she was realized that people are watching you because of the gifts and talents that you have, right? In spite of the people who tried to keep the door closed on you, in spite of the people who talked about you and all that kind of stuff. In spite of all that, because see, you never stopped working. You never stopped working. You never stopped trusting God. You never stopped moving forward, even though it seemed like you was just spinning the wheel and wasn't nothing gonna happen. But God said, "This is the season." Jesus, praise God. This is the season where He's about to start raising up those of you who have been in the back. Those of you who have been through the hardest storms. Those of you who have gone through the most. The black sheep, the Josephs and the Davids that nobody ever thought you was going to amount to nothing. God is about to raise you up because of your gifts. Because you got gifts, you got talents, and God knows your heart, right? See, the season is shifting. I don't know if you can feel it within your life. I don't know if you already got signs of it. I don't know, what's going on in your life right now. But there's a shift for the people that I'm talking to. There's a shift, and you can sense it. You can feel it. You know it's coming. It's all over you. Maybe God has told you that you need to, go to a new job, shift. Maybe God has said it's time for you to go, to a new church. That's a shift. Maybe God has put it in your spirit to move to a new city. That's a shift. Maybe there's been some God is telling you to let somebody in your home that needs help or whatever. That's still a shift. You understand what I'm saying? People are going through shifts. And God is choosing people. He chose David. He chose Moses. He chose Joseph. He could have. There was lots of people that were gifted, but not all of them were chosen. God is choosing people for particular assignments because He's placing His earth angels in areas where they're going to be needed because of whatever is to come. And it's so wild to me that David was gifted in music. It makes me feel like some of the people that God is about to in music, some kind of way, he's going to be raising up musicians that follow after his own heart. So the musicians that he's about to raise up and bring to the forefront are musicians who are gifted and who God is going to be speaking new songs in their ear. And these songs that he's about to place in their ear is going to reach areas that maybe none of their other work has ever reached. Maybe they're going to go to new platforms that they only dreamed about, but it never happened for them because they were, independent artists or they were unknown or whatever. Or maybe he's going to use people that's known and he's going to shift their heart, kind of like he did Kanye West. I don't really know, but I feel like the fact that David was so gifted in music and the fact that God had to go, they had to go find him because he wasn't expecting. When Samuel called for the sons to come, they didn't even think he was worthy enough to be there. There are going to be people who don't think that you're worthy. You ain't got enough streams. You ain't got enough followers. You ain't got enough music. What makes you think that you're going to be going there? Favor ain't fair. Favor isn't fair. If God said this is where you're going to be, this is where you're going to be. Saul was king, but when God said, okay, you have lost your spot, Saul, I didn't pick somebody else, and his name is David. And I'm going to bring him right into your camp, right up under your freaking nose, and in a minute, he's going to take your spot. Favor ain't fair. A shift is coming. We have now entered into the story of David. Shift is coming. The shift has already started. The shift is already. I don't care what storm you went through or how bad stuff was. The shift has started. Get ready for the last to be first. Get ready to see unknown people rise suddenly and unexpectedly to places of power, and these are going to be people that are after people God chooses, that's after his own heart, and they may not even seem to the rest of the world that they're qualified or they got enough experience, they ain't got enough, whatever. Favor ain't fair. That's my cue that it's time to get up off the line. So I pray this was a blessing to somebody. Favor ain't fair, so get ready. Your Cinderella season is over. I'm coming. You better wait a minute. Favor ain't